Alright, welcome to the Chapter 7 Learning Target number 3 video. Just like number 2, this one's going to be pretty review. I mean, we've had these on review sheets where Learning Target 2 was just using order of operations with numerical expressions. Now we're going to evaluate algebraic expressions using the order of operations. So I'll show you exactly. Go ahead and go to page 7. I think it's 7. Let me make sure. Yeah, page 7. And I'm going to show you exactly what the difference is. And it's really not that big of a difference. Okay? Instead of it being, well, actually, let me go back to here, back to this one. Okay, I already got a bunch of work on here, but you guys get the picture. Now it's just going to, instead of it being 3, maybe it's x in for 3, x in for 3, x in for 3. And then at the top it'll say x equals 3. And that'll just kind of, that makes it an algebraic expression. Okay? Going back to here, you can read, algebraic expressions can be evaluated. Okay, that means you're finding, write this, the value. You're finding the value. Okay, so you're going to be given a variable, which is just an unknown number, and then you're going to be saying, what if I plug 3 in? Okay, so you can see from the model, you're taking, well, we can read it here. Simon has X marbles. My copy's really hard to read, but you guys, yours is fine. Simon has X marbles and Cynthia has 3 marbles. How many more marbles does Simon have than Cynthia? Now, anytime you hear that word, how many more, guys, go ahead and write this. You know you're talking about subtraction. Okay? That is very, very basic, elementary understanding, and some of you kind of struggle with that. You kind of struggle with the fact of that would be a subtract question. Okay, but it says Simon has, we want to know how many more he has. Well, if he has X marbles and she has 3 marbles, then we're going to take X and we're going to take away 3. Okay, this is going back to learning target number 1 now. Okay, making algebraic expressions from this kind of situation. You're trying to figure out how many more. Well, you're going to take however many Simon had, you're going to take away the 3. That'll tell you how many more he has. Okay? Now, you can see what they did here. There's our expression, x minus 3. So now, we can plug in any number we want, guys. I mean, if we found out that Simon had 5 marbles, we'd take 5 and plug it in there. And we'd know he'd have 2 more than Cynthia. If we found out that Simon has 12 marbles, we then would be able to figure out that 12 minus 3 would mean that 9, he has 9 more marbles than Cynthia. So that's what an algebraic expression is about. We don't exactly know how many marbles Simon has, but we know that he has however many amount, take away 3, more than she does. Okay, that was kind of confusing, I'm sure. But you can see this is all they did, is they said, okay, if he has 5 marbles, okay, that means that he has 2 more than Cynthia. If he had 9 marbles, that means that he has 6 more, 9 minus 3. If he had 17 marbles, 17 minus 3 would mean that he'd have 14 more marbles than her. Okay? That's the idea. This is Cynthia. She has 3, whereas Simon has 17. How many more does he have? Well, you do that by doing the whole minus the part. 17 minus 3 is 14. That's where that answer comes from. Okay? And you can see there's where the evaluate comes in. Find the value. You're taking your x equals 17. And you're plugging it in for x right there. Here, they're taking x. They're saying when x equals 5, you're taking it and you're using the, write this please, substitution property. We've talked about that all year on review sheets. You're taking a value for x and you're plugging it in or substituting it in. Okay? This says, well, I guess this is a different question, but you get the picture. X plus 12, that's just the algebraic expression, guys. That's all it is. It's an algebraic expression. Okay? And then it says when x equals 5, so you take x, you plug it in, substitute it in. 5 plus 12 is 17. Okay? This says 16 minus y when y equals 9. So we're going to do, by the way, this is a y, not a 4. We're going to do 16 minus 9 to see what that value is. And it is 7. Okay? Here, 3z plus 6. Okay, let's write this one out. This is where it gets a little bit more complicated, but not really. Okay, the biggest key here is we got to understand what operation's happening there. Now, most of you hopefully are sitting at your computer or iPad right now saying that's multiplication. We've went over that. Okay, we've talked about that. Okay, so it's actually 3, and this is why, by the way, way back when we were doing review sheets, and some of you asked me, why can't we just use x for multiplication? This is why. When you start getting into variables, you don't know whether that's a multiplication sign or whether that's a variable. So from now on, we're going to show multiplication like this, right here, with a number directly in front of the variable, or you're going to show it with a dot or an asterisk, something like that, one of those two. Or you could show it with parentheses. Okay? Any of those are options. But mainly, right here, when you're using algebra and you're doing algebraic expressions, you will write whatever you're multiplying, whatever number you're multiplying, right in front of whatever the variable is. Okay? Now, we know that this is 3 times, and then what did it tell us z was? It says it's 4. So it's 3 times 4 plus 6. Okay? Now, I'm going to go back up to the learning target for a minute. Okay? I can evaluate, find the value of algebraic expressions. Remember, algebraic expressions are simply just numbers, variables, and operations. Okay? That's all there is to it. But look what it says here. Using the order of operations. Let's go back to the previous page. We simplified numerical expressions using the order of operations. So that means we need to evaluate algebraic expressions also using the order of operations. This is very important. This is the most important thing about this learning target. Okay? So what I mean is you're going to still write PEMDAS above here. You still got to do it, because you still have to follow the order of operations. You can't just simply add 4 and 6 together. You must follow the order of operations. So we look for parentheses, no. Exponents, no. Multiplication or division, yes. That's going to be 12 plus 6 is going to give us 18, which is what they got. Okay? Same deal here. This is W. Remember, all fractions are division problems, so that would just be W divided by 4. And you could write it out like this if you wanted to. Minus 4. Okay? Where W is 20, so we're going to do 20 divided by 4 minus 4. Guys, just so you're clear, I want to show you like this real quick here, just to make sure. You could also write it like this, 20 over 4 minus 4. Either way is fine. That's the way they did it this way. I would be fine with either way, but I do like this way a little better because that tells me that you know that all fractions are division problems. Okay? So again, you need to follow the order of operations. Here, you got to do it. You can't just do 4 minus 4 first. Okay, it's impossible. Okay, so we do aren't any parentheses, there are no exponents, so we do 20 divided by 4 first, that's 5, and then we bring down minus 4, and that's going to give us 1, which is what they got. Okay, go ahead and go to the next page. Yeah, a bunch of examples here, bunch of examples. Okay, all you're doing is you're taking your x here, and you are substituting it back in here. All I ask is that you please rewrite it when you do this. So I want you to rewrite it as a numeric expression. So this right here is an algebraic expression. I want it to be rewritten as a numeric expression. So that's going to be 7 plus 5. And that's going to equal 7 plus 7 is 14 plus 5 is 19. Okay? This one here, we rewrite it as a numeric expression. That's 3x, which means 3 times whatever they're saying x is. Okay? It's going to be 5 plus 5. We write PEMDAS. Okay? There are no parentheses, there are no exponents, so we go straight to multiplication. That's 15 plus 5 equals 20. I would like you guys to pause and just do number 3 and number 4 for me, please. Okay? So, here we go. I know that that's multiplication happening here. I'm going to rewrite it as a numeric expression, guys, which means just numbers and operations. So that means 5 times y. So I'm going to take my 3 and I'm going to plug it in or substitute it. 5 times 3 minus 8. Okay, I write PEMDAS. Okay, And now I'm going to do no parentheses, no exponents, so I got to do multiplication. That's 15. And then I do 15 minus 8 is going to result in the answer of 7. Okay? By the way, just so you guys know on this one here, you could also show it like this if you wanted. 5 parenthesis 3 minus 8. You could do it like that. That means multiply as well. Okay? Okay, this one here, ooh, a little bit backwards. Hopefully you didn't get caught up in the mistake here. Hopefully you didn't get caught in my big web of lies, because that's exactly what this is. Okay, when you do this, you've got to follow the order of operations, guys. You have to do it. Okay? So I hope none of you made this mistake and put 31. Okay, that's wrong, so don't put that. I'm just showing you this is why the learning target doesn't just say evaluate algebraic expressions. It's, well, I guess it's on the previous page, but it says evaluate algebraic expressions using the order of operations. You can never do subtraction before multiplication. So you must go in order. So I must do this first. Okay? That's 9 times 2 is 18. 40 minus 18 equals 22. Okay? Hopefully you got those right. If you didn't, please make sure you understand it. This one's the same way. We're going to turn this into a numeric expression. 33. That doesn't change. Minus 7. Since it's 7w, that means 7 times whatever w is. That's 4 plus 6. I hope you guys are seeing how I'm taking this, and I am rewriting this as a numeric expression. I do not want you guys skipping steps. If you skip steps, I will count it wrong. Just so you guys hear it. I hope you heard it here. You're listening to me, because I will not accept just an answer here. So, in other words, I will not accept just simply taking this number and typing it into your calculator. You must show the steps, just like we did in Learning Target 2. There are no parentheses, there are no exponents, so we go straight to multiplication. That's 28. Bring down 33 minus, plus 6. We must do subtraction first. That is 5 plus 6 equals 11. Now, just in case anybody's confused, the reason we did subtraction first is because, remember, addition and subtraction happen together at the same time. So we got to go left to right, whatever we see first, going left to right. Okay, this problem here. Now, this is where they're going to get a little more challenging. As you can look at maybe number 8 here, these are going to get harder. Okay. Here's what I want you guys to get in the habit of doing, and I want you to do this every time from now on. Every time you have a fraction like this, I want you to put, if there's more than just a number in the numerator or denominator, I want you to put it in parentheses. Okay? You got to do that, because that's going to tell you you must do parentheses first. You'll get the picture. If that doesn't make sense, some of you might be a little confused. You won't be here in a minute, I promise. So I'm first of all going to rewrite this as a numeric expression. 7w means 7 times whatever w is. Okay, and then I'm going to divide by 6. But notice, I'm putting it in parentheses. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the parentheses. So that's 7 times 18. 7 times 18 is 126. And then I'm dividing it by 6. Remember, all fractions are division problems. Okay, and that's going to give me an answer of, or a value of, I guess I should say, 21. Now, if you were to type this into your calculator, you'd want to do it just like this. Put it in parentheses just like that. Okay? Let's go on to number 7. Okay? Again, put 5z in parentheses. Okay? The reason we don't have to put 6 in parentheses is because it's just a number. It's just by itself. Now, if that said 6z down there, you'd want to put it in parentheses. But you don't have to. Okay? So we're going to rewrite this as a numeric expression. 4 plus 5, parenthesis, times whatever z is. Because remember, when a number is touching a variable, that means multiply. In parentheses, divided by 6. Okay? Hope that makes sense. So we got to follow PEMDAS. This gets a little bit confusing. I'm not going to lie. Some of you are going to be, your head's going to be spinning a little bit on this. Because it's not just like these, where they're kind of just all just like this. They get kind of hard when they're like this, when you got all this stuff going on. But you just trust what I've told you to do. Okay? You do parentheses first. So that means 5 times 12 is 60. Okay? Now you bring down everything you haven't used, which is this divide by bar, and that's 6 in the 4. So I bring down 4 plus, just bringing that over, and then I put my division bar back there, divided by 6. Now I'm done with parentheses. There are no exponents. I got to do multiplication or division. What do you see? Well, I see that I got to do the division. 60 divided by 6 is 10. Then I bring down 4 plus 10. It's going to give me an answer of 14. Now, how would you type this in your calculator? Exactly the way you see it. 4 plus parenthesis 5 times 12 parenthesis divided by 6. Okay? Why don't you guys actually, let me do this one with you, and then we'll go on, or I'll have you do a couple. Here you go. The first thing you do is put those right in parentheses, guys. You got to do it. You got to trust me, okay? It's going to be way too hard. There is a way you don't have to do that, but I don't want you to know it. I want you to do it my way. Okay? So let's rewrite this now, only now we're going to plug in 12 for z. So, in parentheses, I'm going to put 4 plus 5 times 12 divided by 6. Okay? A lot going on here, guys. Actually kind of challenging. You actually got to treat this, what's in highlighted right there, you actually got to treat that as its own numeric expression. Okay? So if you wanted to, you got to take care of those parentheses first. So if you wanted, you could just write it like this. Follow PEMDAS. You're doing parentheses, so now you got to go do your multiplication first. That's 60. Bring down your plus 4. Now you do your addition. That's 64. What that means is right there in green, that actually equals 64. Okay? Now we got to bring down divided by 6 because we haven't taken care of that yet. So 64 divided by 6 equals 10 point, yeah, it ends up being a decimal, but 10.6 repeating. Okay? This is where it's going to get a little hard. This is difficult. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay, you've got to basically get your numerator and your denominator down to one number, and then you do your division at the end. Okay? Go ahead and try number 9 on your own real quick. Okay? So we first of all rewrite it as a numeric expression, so 20 minus, okay, in the numerator, I'm going to put that in parentheses. We always do that first. Hopefully you did. Put that in parentheses. So I'm going to draw my fraction bar, and that just means 4 times 10, and then all of that should be divided by 5. So now when you write your PEMDAS, okay, you're going to do the parentheses first. So this expression is going to become 40 is going to become that number. And then divide by 5, and then don't forget to bring down 20 minus this. Now I know it's a little harder. Like I said, this is hard because you can't just, like I said, when we did these, it's kind of like they all are just very horizontal. Okay? They all just kind of flow like that. All right? These aren't as much like that, okay? So you got to take some different steps. Okay? Now since we've done the parentheses, we are now going to go on to exponents. There aren't any. Now we're going to go on to multiplication or division, which I see that there's division right there. All fractions are division problems. So that's going to result in the number 8. 40 divided by 5 is 8. We bring down 20 minus. Now we're ready to do subtraction. The answer is 12. Okay? Alright. Here we go. Put your parentheses around 8r. Put your fraction bar. That just means 8 times 27 divided by 9 minus 15. So the first thing is to take care of your parentheses. So we got to do 8 times 27. That's 216. Notice how what I have in green right there, I have that, I have that. They are equivalent to each other. I'm just taking care of them. Divided by 9 minus 15. We are done with the parentheses. Now we're on to exponents. So we go into multiplication or division, which we got to do that divided by 9. Okay, so we do this. 216 divided by 9 is 24. We bring over minus 15. It's going to give us the answer of 9. Okay? Then they get really crazy here. There's some really crazy stuff that goes on. But again, you follow it just the same way. You turn it into a numeric expression. This needs to become a parentheses around it. 16 minus, parentheses, that means 2 times 18 minus 4, all of that divided by 3. Okay. Like I said, whenever you have multiple steps in these things, if you want, you can just kind of rewrite them up here somewhere if you wanted, and then solve them using PEMDAS, obviously. It's 32. Okay. So I know what's in parentheses right there equals 32. So now I'm going to rewrite this as 16 minus 32 divided by 3. Okay, we got to do the division first. 32 divided by 3 is going to be a decimal. Okay, it's 10.6. repeating. Whoop, I guess I need to rewrite that. I need to write my 16 in front because you got to keep it there. 16 minus 10.6 repeating. Okay, and then my advice when you're typing this in your calculator, you just type in 16 minus 10 point, and then just put a bunch of sixes. Maybe you just put 7, 8, 9, 10 sixes, and you'll be able to figure out the answer. You'll see what it does. And the answer ends up being 5.3 repeating, which equals 5 1/3. Okay? Typing this into your calculator, you would type it just exactly the way you see it. You would type in 16 minus parenthesis 2 times 18 minus 4 parenthesis divided by 3. Guys, I know that these are kind of challenging. They are. Okay? We just got to really bear with me. We're going to do just these last, well, we'll just do one more. Okay, we'll do one more. And then remind me that number 12 and number 14, remind me that I want to do these at the beginning of class. Do in class tomorrow. Okay? We'll do those then. So I'm going to do just number 13 here, because these are hard. I would be kidding you if this is more enrichment actually. Okay, but it's the same process, so I just want you to see it. First of all, you're going to take your 3 and you're going to plug it in for x. That's number 1. Okay, so remember, anytime you ever have an expression in your numerator or denominator, we go ahead and put those in parentheses. Every time, do it. Now let's turn it into a numeric expression. Okay, so we just take that x, we put the 3 in for it. So we get rid of the variables. We want it to just be numbers and operations. So here we go. Keep my parentheses. 3 plus 1 over top of 2. That's not that difficult. I just took 3 and plugged it in for x. Plus, okay, let's keep it in parentheses, 5 times 3 minus 3, all of that divided by 10. So when you're following PEMDAS, you got to keep in mind that you got to take care of those parentheses first. That's first and foremost. So let's take care of it. This one's easy because you know that you just do 3 plus 1. That's pretty easy. That's 4. That's going to equal 4 over 2. 4 divided by 2. Plus. This one over here, not quite as easy. Okay, maybe you can't do that in your head. So again, go off to the side. Do 5 times 3 minus 3. Do your multiplication first. Bring down your subtraction. And get 12. Okay, so now I'm going to rewrite that as 12 divided by 10. Okay. Okay, now we got to keep following PEMDAS. We've done our parentheses. There are no exponents. Now we go to multiplication or division. These are both fractions, so we are going to turn them. We got to do the division here on both of these. Okay, so we got to do 4 divided by 2. That's going to equal 2. Bring down your plus. We've got to do 12 divided by 10. That's going to equal 1.2. Okay? Now we must do our addition, finally, because we were done with our multiplication or division, and we're going to get 3.2. Okay? Type this into your calculator would be parenthesis 3 plus 1, end parenthesis, divided by 2, plus, parenthesis, 5 times 3 minus 3, parenthesis, divided by 10. I know, I hope your head isn't spinning too much on these types of problems. I'm not as worried about these as I am about basic ones like this or like this, okay? I'm more worried about those than I am about these. But this is important too, and there are going to be ones like this on the test. So I hope you understand where I'm coming from. If not, go back and rewatch something, okay? I will see you guys tomorrow. Good job.